Hi there, Matt Weatherly again from Public Sector Personnel Consultants with a brief wrap-up on the classification and compensation study that was performed for professional support positions as well as administrators and principals. Just a quick reminder, we certainly appreciate everybody's input on the job questionnaires. That enables us obviously to review job titles, make job matches out in the market, ensure that everyone is correctly classified onto an updated job description. So we'll be working on those job descriptions. We have completed the salary survey and we have modeled all of the jobs that were included onto updated pay grades. There are about 30 professional support job titles and another 20 administrator and director job titles that were included in the exercise. You will receive some information from Human Resources, certainly if your pay grade was updated and or if we are proposing any job title modifications. But we wanted to take just a few minutes today to review the scope and give you a few kind of highlights of what we did and how we did it. And then that'll get followed up with probably like a one-page summary document from Human Resources that will have some specifics about your position as well as kind of an overall summary of the study. Quick reminder, we looked at other school districts, we looked at other public employers as well as private employers in the region to try and compare job descriptions. Now, knowing that there's no such thing as a perfect match, we do try to take the job content from your questionnaires and compare that to job descriptions, organization charts, ultimately pay plans from these agencies that are shown here. We collected the data from scratch. We basically built out a custom survey database so that we can ensure that we're comparing like jobs to the extent that that is possible. Now, when you do a salary survey, you're really trying to answer two high-level questions. The first is, how do we look compared to others? How are we doing compared to those that perhaps we are competing with to attract and retain staff? Now, at a high level, when we compare, in this particular case, over 40 different jobs, it's very common that we're maybe in good shape for some jobs and we've fallen behind for others. Globally, pretty good news, right? About 80% of the sample looked to be within 5% of market. Now, we did account for inflation with any anticipated adjustments that will likely occur in the market in the next kind of 8 to 12 months. But ultimately, when we compared over 40 jobs, there were about 7 that seemed to survey more than 5% behind market. The others are really close to market, so within 5%. And there are a handful that are in a little bit better shape than 5% ahead of market. Again, very common that when you do a survey, it's not meant for everybody gets a certain percentage increase. That's kind of what maybe you already had planned. That is all still part of what your anticipated adjustments would be for 2023. This does not replace that, but it does supplement it, because we do have some movement. We do have some jobs that need to be assigned to pay grades and then salaries brought to at least a minimum of those pay grades. We have designed 2 updated salary tables, one for professional support. You'll see there's about 15 or 16 pay grades on this scale. Each pay grade, just so you know, is separated by about 5% at the pay range midpoint and provides an equal opportunity from left to right or minimum to maximum for all jobs. Some of your current pay tables are either incomplete or have a differing number of opportunities for pay. That range width does vary from job to job a little bit. So we wanted to make as consistent and I would say predictable, but also fair pay range opportunity from entry to top out for all jobs. So that's what the professional support table looks like. We also designed an updated one for directors, administrators, and principals. Now, using the available market data and our understanding, as well as your kind of internal relationships, internal alignment, sensitivity to promotional opportunities, we've placed all of the jobs that were included in the study onto a pay grade. So either that professional support structure or accordingly the director, administrator, and principal, basically administrator salary table. We did that without really looking at your actual salaries. It was largely a market exercise. But when we go to implement a couple of things, we do have pay grades proposed for each position. You will receive whatever your anticipated adjustment is going to be anyway on July 1. But we do have some employees that fall below the entry that is proposed for your job. So if you're below the pay range minimum, we want to see your salary brought up to at least that minimum after you see the increase that you perhaps were expecting or anticipated on July 1. We kind of promised up front to not a big windfall anywhere, but we certainly want everyone to have a pay range or a pay grade, as well as equal opportunity to move through that pay grade going forward. So there are some employees that will be affected by the study in the implementation, but again, it does not replace maybe any anticipated adjustments that would have been in effect anyway without the study. So look for some information both generically and specifically to you from Human Resources. We will help with that communication. It might just be kind of a one-page document discussing if your job title changed, if your pay grade changed, or what your proposed pay grade is. And certainly if there was any implications for your actual salary as we move you on to the pay grade. Again, thank you for your input early on in this process. It did allow us to hopefully get as accurate of information as we could externally, as well as build out a very internally equitable and logical set of salary grade placements for each position. So thanks again. Hopefully everybody has a great summer. Would love to get to see some people in person, at some point, but certainly in the meantime, thank you so much again, and everybody be safe and have a good summer.